Again, yeah. He'll do it again, yeah. Restore to you everything that was taken. No, the trouble won't last always. They say it won't last always. Better believe. All right, we're back. Part two of Trouble Don't Last Always. We want to thank Keandra Lockett for such a beautiful message. And we just wanting to continue on this mindset change that, yes, we know we're in a interesting situation worldwide now. We understand that trouble, but we can call it opportunity. We can call it the time when we can live our best lives, where we can use these moments to do inspirational things, do outstanding things in not only our lives but in others. We can also choose this time to not live in the past, but destine and plan for our future. So this is a reset for most of us, trying to figure out how we're going to navigate through these new waters of dating, and you can't physically, in all consciousness, go out without either being fined because you don't have a mask on or whatever the political climate and situation of the day is. But we still know that this is not going to last always. It's your mindset of changing that. When you have a changed mind, you can have a changed life. When you realize that you are not defined by the limits of what they say you can and can't do, then the possibilities are endless. So we always say here on our Is Why Be Lonely? There are many ways to connect. You can connect with a pet. You can connect with those that are looking for people so they won't be lonely. Common goals. But one thing we want to just encourage everyone is, even though it seems like we're in desperate times, desperate measures, you don't have to be a desperado. Desperate to get those things you're looking for by settling for things that are not good for you. We've heard a lot in just the media, and we want to pray for all those couples and those individuals that's having a really hard time in their dating, relationship, and just in life. Not only just financial stressors, relationship stressors. Toya Lockett, we want to pray for her and her family. There's always people on the outside trying to change what you have on the inside. And so kudos for her for taking the high road and not the low road. She's focusing on her family and her new baby whenever he make this arrival. And we definitely want to keep them in prayer that she have a very healthy and safe delivery. But, we got to have standards of decency, irises, not to ruin anybody else's family because of the things that we want in life, not to go around changing someone else's future because you don't like your past. We have to get into this mindset of an attitude adjustment that everything that is for us is not for us. It could be somebody else. Don't take anybody else's leftovers. Not that leftovers are bad, but their leftovers are not your meal of the day. Invent your own meal. Invent your own situation and not take from the lives of others thinking that they are the things you need to survive. Because, I do believe in blessings and curses. And you don't want to curse your future life because you cursed someone else's life. So, just reminding about being decent and in order. Reminding about how let's live our present like none other. I'm getting that from Dave Ramsey. He has a lot of good information on financial ways to maneuver in life. So while you're waiting on the one, get your finances in order. Not a problem with that. Set some new financial goals, some new business goals, some new you goals where you're going to learn a new language, get your portfolio in order. People level up and do all those type of things. Whatever you need to make your life feel like it's worth living. I like that saying he says, live like none other. Do that. Iris. It's okay. You don't have to apologize for living like none other. But don't take from others to live like none other. Because trouble will last always. But this is the recipe of not letting trouble last always. Stay in the goodwill of your spiritual higher power. This is spiritual experiences. And without a spiritual experience, it's really difficult to have a physical experience. So always get your spirituality in order, doing the right things, being the right people, being the right person. Live like the one that you want to be. If you're not a good person, then make this day and decide to be a good person. If you want happy and successful things in your life, be happy and do something successful. So again, we want to just encourage and remind everybody you can live like none other. You cannot let trouble last always. Just because you're in trouble don't have to mean you have to be trouble. So just wanted to encourage you, just a little chit chat today on different individuals and what's your thoughts about how they are living their life. And love Kara Shear and her songs. They're very inspirational, very motivational. But watch out, successful ladies. Because when you are successful, ladies, and you are successful, gentlemen, there are going to be distractors in your view. If they don't have anything going on, you think that bringing them along will cause their total devotion to you. Look at the story of B. Smith. It's a terrible story of how love can turn at the slightest moment because of what's hidden in the past and what's hidden. Beware of those jealous of you. The jealousy can creep up for years, thinking that they're invisible and you're very visible. So be very careful, successful irises, of those that like to attach on to your coattails, and then in the end of life, they do things that disrupt your future and eventually destroy your past. You know, there's a lot that can go along with faking it for several years and then their true character nature comes out. You know, I like old Tyler Perry movie about you can do bad by yourself. You don't have to drag somebody along and then later on they're dragging you along. You realize, don't get in situations, and nobody can predict the future. The only thing we can do is look at the situations and the instances. You know, you ought to be wined and dined. You ought to be treated like none other. You ought to be able to get back what you're reciprocating. If that is not happening, keep holding out for those that will treat you as you deserve. Be careful, successful irises, of those that claim they want to be on the team, but later on they don't act like they're on the team. Oh yes, it's great to sign in bonuses. Oh, it's great they sign on to the program, but they can't show up for the game. They can't show up for practice. Once they have their contract and they've signed, and definitely get something in writing that says if for whatever amount of games they show up for, you know, we've switched this to a game scenario. Whatever type of games they show up for, whatever kind of contributions they make, they get a proceed until a certain time that you can see they're fully invested on the team. But some team members, you have to let go. And it's best not to put them on the team without them having a trial first. You don't have to reduce your standards just to live up to your standards. Just being reminded, irises, that so many people, we wish there were people in the community that would tell us these things early on so we don't have a lot of regrets from the past. And all these messages are in love and in support, trying to create a community that there are more givers than takers. There are more genuine than fakery. So just, a little rant about making life choices, things to be proud of and not in desperation. Clock is ticking, time is running down, wait on that thing. That just because everyone says, Lord, Lord, don't mean they're with the Almighty. Some of the worst people I know are people that claim they're in the church. Not that the church is bad, it's just that people in the church, some people in the church are bad. Some people in the church are good. Very hard to distinguish, but just as the good book always says, you know them by their fruits. What are the fruits of their labor? At a certain age, they should have accomplishments. They should have things in their wallet. They should have things that they have done to prove what they say. Always actions should match words. If the words are there and the actions are not matching, then it's time to do a recalibration. If the actions say one thing and the words say something else, it's time to sit down and start some communication. Communication is the one thing that they said if a relationship does not have, it is doomed to fail. Some people send their representative out first. And you got to give that representative time enough to tell you if the representative and the true person is the same thing. Most of the time, they're not. Give them some time. That's okay. We have all the time in the world to prevent regrets and woulda, shoulda, couldas. A lot of us, I don't think, would have made the decisions we've made if we had good counsel. So that's why we started interracial spiritual experiences, because sometimes good counsel don't look like you or I. Sometimes good counsel comes from other communities. There are a lot of communities that have very good counselors, very good traits of that culture. And we want to blend all of them into a culture of people that are provided for, taken care of, needs are met, great things are happening, inspirational things are occurring, influences, positive influences are always present. These are the communities and these are the people we're encouraging to join inspirational spiritual experiences. If we are so narrow in our thinking that everyone has to look like us and be us and live like us to get something from the situation, then we're going to be sadly mistaken and shortened on our experiences in life. If someone has a great idea, if someone is doing a good thing, no matter what their color, what their culture, it's great to give them positive words of affirmation. Oh yes, we believe in love languages over here. What's your language? Hey, chat down below in the box. Tell us what you think about these situations going on. What's your love language? What's the way you like to communicate? Why does infidelity always have to be the end of a relationship? Why can't it be fixed before these situations happen? But you can't fix something that no one thinks is broken. You can't fix something that's already broken and nobody is aware of why. So we started this channel to give awareness like all the other content creators out there, but with a spiritual slant. Because without that spiritual piece, a lot of the information you give will not go as far as it could be when you have the push of a higher power backing the whole situation, backing the relationships, backing the financial arrangements. Not taking, but seeing how we can be our best selves. Anyways, Iris's interracial spiritual experiences, we just want to encourage everyone to join the club. We have a dating site. Just put in Iris, IRSES, and click on join on the site so that other people can find you. Those that have a good moral character and want to be decent and in order. If you don't want to be decent, then we prefer you not join the site. Because we don't want to do any false advertisement. If you're a decent person, we would love to have you a part of the team. If you're not a decent person, then keep listening. And then when you've risen to that level of decency that you would prefer to be, not just a representative. We don't want anybody's representative on the site. We want the true person on the site. True in character, true in nature, true in actions, true in everything about you, where My favorite saying used to be, whatever I say, you can take that to the bank. I got that from my father. I want you to be able to take my word to the bank. And likewise, everyone else, whatever we say, let's always have that backed up with actions. In this community, we can't fix the world because the world a lot of times don't want to be fixed. It loves the way it's running amok. But in this community, we can decide to have positive change. First, by starting with changing ourselves. Let's live up to a standard, which I know we can. Live if you're not as decent as you want to be, if you lie still, if you cheat and you scam and you do all kinds, you can choose this day to be better. So when people see the new you, they went like, who? That's not the person I remember. Let's make a positive change. Because guess what? Trouble don't last always. Part 2. It might be a part 3. Keep tuning in, Irises. We'll check you next time.